for their customers without necessarily having to grow year after year. And as we do these things, we should be thinking about what we're going to prioritize. You know, do baby bonuses make sense under these circumstances? I don't think so. You know, we do need alternative energy sources, solar and wind, but they will provide a different kind of energy from what we've been used to. They are intermittent sources. The sun isn't always shining, the wind isn't always blowing. They're not going to support the same kind of consumer growing economy that we've seen during the last few decades. So as we transition to renewable energy sources, which we certainly must do as fast as we can, we have to expect to have less energy, and especially less energy for transportation. We will be less mobile in the future. Nobody is planning on electric airliners to ferry hundreds of people from continent to continent. It's not going to happen. And if we use biofuels for Boeing 747s, that fuel is going to be much more expensive than the kerosene that we're using right now. We will be less mobile. So let's plan on it. We can make this transition. We should be building or retrofitting our buildings so that they don't require external energy sources like the passive house movement in Germany is doing. And finally, we've created a food system that depends upon fossil fuel inputs for pesticides, fertilizers, herbicides, and so on. That's a food system that's almost designed to fail under circumstances that are entirely foreseeable. So we need to relocalize our food systems and extract fossil fuels from every stage of it. Finally, we need to rethink economics itself. Economics as a discipline grew up during this anomalous period, brief eye blink of time in human history when we had rapid fossil-fueled economic growth. And so economists internalized some ideas about the world that I think are pretty unrealistic, like the idea that the entire natural world is a subset of the economy. It's just a pile of resources that we extract, turn into consumer goods, which then become waste, which goes away, wherever away is. But the reality, of course, is exactly the opposite. The entire human economy is a subset of the ecosystem, always has been and always will be. So why don't we design our human economy to function like a healthy ecosystem? We have to understand that growth in population and consumption is fundamentally unsustainable. And when I say unsustainable, I don't mean insufficiently eco-groovy. I mean it can't go on. Now, obviously, it can go on for a few decades because it has, but not much longer. So we should plan for how big an economy nature can support over the long term and how big a population. Renewable resources have to be harvested at less than the rate of natural replenishment. How obvious, and yet we're flouting this principle with regard to forests and fisheries. And non-renewable resources have to be recycled wherever possible. And the rate at which we extract them from the Earth's crust always has to decline if we're going to aim for a condition that's sustainable. Very simple principles. Now, can we follow those principles and still build one of these? I don't know. But if these are the most important invention in all of human history, as we seem to all have agreed, that we